Rain sizzles off neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street, and a slight blunting of the night's ambience. Ambience. Emphasis on slight. Lights, cameras, and constant noise. The city's got insomnia, with the uneven heart rate to prove it. There's no escaping the secondhand nervous energy of it all, but I'm pretty acclimated. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Because if I'm not careful, this client of mine's gonna die in jail.
Morgan. Criminal attorney.
It's hard to get away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadows of doubt left. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Whether it's incandescent, neon, or hollow, whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen, there's light shining on every last pixel of the map. And someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity, anonymity is scarce, and criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. So you take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defender work, no matter the hour. And should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Not that there's much else I can do until... My phone?
Counselor, your public defender contract has been approved. You are expected at the 254th precinct. Present your ID at the door to enter. Arrive at least 15 minutes early.
Looks like the paperwork came through. It's nearly 3:15 now, 90 minutes since I took the job. Probably makes it about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things are gonna get busy. Welcome to Of the Devil, episode 0. Does it have a title? And he shall appear. Oh, I get it. We're gonna enable tutorials because I have not played this game before and I know very little about it other than evil lesbians, maybe? I was assured that there were lesbians and they might be evil. Precinct 254. It's a goddamn ghost town, with nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. I'm here about a homicide? High clearance rates be damned. You'd think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. I love evil lesbians. Me too, Raven Gold. Me too. But whatever, if I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit what you have to say. So let's see if I can't poke around and shake some change loose. Press the phone button, or tap the phone icon in the top left to access save load, advancing text, back, okay. You earn credit for investigating anything and everything. Ooh. Measure of information gathering skills and my own credibility. So don't go broke! I love that card. That's really cute. Oh! Whoa. That's really gonna catch your attention. An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. Though museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. This homicide department's more like an attic. Hard to believe they were ever so busy that they had witnesses making IDs in the lobby. And again, it's hard to believe they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Did you know that during traumatic events, memory information is blah blah blah? Poking holes in that setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel. And all during billable hours. Oh, I love billable hours. But there's no room to sow doubt anymore. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording. Oh, I wish I was modded. Assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them. Oh, I'm glad my phone doesn't do that. Medium's cracked in the corner. Looks bad, but my phone's made of the same stuff, and I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa. I'd probably null the warranty on one of these things with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia you always get served at state buildings. But there's a few missing persons, too. 1 year of Silver Plan coverage, courtesy of Caduceus, as a reward for any... Silver's no joke. Family must be getting desperate. High-traffic hallways, utilitarian furnishing, multiple screening stations. Pragmatic brutalism, so textbook it could teach freshman-level architecture. I can almost hear the building drone on and on about concrete and iron and hard right angles. The civil planning equivalents of battle scars. From a fight won so long ago that they're starting to look ridiculous. I'm sure it was all very imposing back when it was built. But walking in here now with crime rates where they are, feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness. Some good, world building. I'm the kind of person that likes to dig around in all the stuff I can explore in these games, so, you know. We're gonna be doing that. A data pad. I'll bite. Even when they're more advertisement than article, they can still be informative. In a flowery, roundabout, corporate propaganda sort of way. Keep an eye out for articles. They offer insight on the world around you and credit towards your investigation. I love getting credit towards my investigation. Choose the proper takeaway after reading them, and you'll earn additional bonus credit, too. Wait, I get to do homework? Oh, let's check this out. Subway fixes, axe, city refocus on canopy. Subway tunnels are irreparably flooded. City engineers are draining the system. Let's see, saltwater damage, erosion of tunnel fixtures. Critically compromised. Ooh. Civil engineering efforts will be refocused on maintenance and expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure system that weaves together trams, highways, walkways, and skyscrapers into the canopy, high above our city streets. Ah, yes, one of those cyberpunk futures where they put a bunch of stuff in the sky and everyone below them can't see the sun anymore. You know, that shit's real. They'd just do that if they could. The actions of the announcement could be characterized as blasé. So people kind of gave up on public transportation, huh? Barely any reaction. Commenters focused instead on growing investigations into Councilman Long's campaign finance irregularities. Ooh, interesting. Okay. As one of the Canopy's major backers in City Hall, Long found himself at odds with the group, considered an eyesore, an amplifier of light and noise pollution. Yeah, I mean, obviously that kind of thing would be. Having Longs to order and more fully cooperate with investigators. He stepped away from his political duties? Okay. Interesting. People and corporations alike have little choice for how they complete their morning commute. Not all reactions to the news have been negative. At least a few bold individuals see this latest report as vindication. Oh, okay. Rising star and tech startup Subterra made headlines last year with their radical proposal for a system of personal submarine taxi pods that could make use of the flooded subway tunnels. That's an insane idea. What are you talking about? The first prototype for the city came in at a disappointing 3,359% over budget. Yeah. You want to make submarines a form of public transport, buddy? That's a lot. Mind-bogglingly wasteful and impractical in the extreme. Yeah. Subterra's probably declared their intent to resubmit their proposal package. I know. Crazy. The future's wild. Entire globe. Coastal cities like ours have struggled to find civil engineering answers to rising sea levels and subterranean flooding that satisfy financial, practical, and aesthetical concerns. Historically, most scientists have attributed this increase in sea level to climate change, although there are dissenting voices.
Water rises and falls all the time, for reasons we do not fully understand. Are we to...
It appears you have 0 free articles remaining this month. Please verify your account information in order to continue reading the stories that matter. Ballsy of them, putting the paywall there. As if I'd reach for my wallet after having to read a word like aesthetical. Besides, I got the gist of it. The takeaways that the city will be focusing its efforts on. The canopy, obviously. Subterra's impractical and expensive. There'll be increased scrutiny surrounding the canopy now that there's no plan B. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Lines the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate bad press at the moment. One Councilman Long's already thoroughly chummed the waters. We meowing in chat? Is it a meow in chat kind of day? Even the art style is gay. Yeah, you know, even the passenger gets in trouble. I've taken in all the scenery and learned as much as I can here. Yes, thank you for having a notification for when that happens. Oh, that would have saved my ass in so many Ace Attorney scenes. Time to get checked in. It booted up fine. So far, so good. Good morning! Morgan, here for public defender contract. Could you please provide your name and... Great! Please stand still for a moment. I wouldn't call Intake Harlow's charming, more like harmless. But that's probably what the designers were aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their text so long as it never speaks out of turn. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth? So far so good, was it? Scan my card. Say, why don't you just scan my ID card? Great! Now could you just confirm your date of birth for me? Why do they even bother asking? My birthday's on the damn ID card, and my profile. I'd have to be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem, my birthday's... December 26th. Great. Oh, she likes decaf coffee. That's weird. December 26th. I know my own birthday. I'm a very grown-up lady. Perfect. Good morning, Morgan Counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival and for taking on this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak to your client, you can proceed to Counseling Quarter 3C. Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room? I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. My vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards. Don't sweat it. I can't keep track of every new euphemism either. CS jump scare. Ah, hi CS. They could call it the involuntary wellness check room if they like. Doesn't change the way it makes a person feel sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own reflection, dully wrapped across gunmetal walls. I swear I can talk. Morgan Counselor, can I help you with anything else? Choices that progress the story forward will cause other options to shrink away. Ah! Take the conversation down side paths and before returning. Okay. Because of the article you read, you've unlocked an additional choice in this dialogue. Ooh, I love dialogue. Build up your knowledge. I love building my knowledge. Okay, so this one makes the others shrink away, which means it'll move us forward, but these will not, so. What are you? I'm a smart user interface, proudly sold by Noble Electronics. Thank you for asking. If you're interested, I could send you a link with information about our subscription packages. Should I send you a link with information about our subscription packages? No. Sorry. That was a mean question to ask. Why the disrepair? I know the city's not terribly concerned with the lower wards, but this is a police station. Why is it so goddamn dusty? This facility is currently undergoing renovations. Since when? The 60s? It has been 22 months. Since the timetable was last updated. They really don't see a lot of action around here, do they? I'm sorry for any inconvenience you might have encountered. I'm adaptable. What about you? They ever gonna fix that crack? Thank you for asking. It has not interfered with my work. Well, that's all that matters, right? That'll be all, thank you. You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office, through the door to your right. Thanks. But I think it's just me for now, so you can go on break if you like. Automated dependents do not take breaks, Morgan Counselor. Then what were you doing before I walked in? You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office. Through the door to the right, thank you. Ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes. But it's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with anyway.
You're eating mercury? Chat is poisoning themselves rather than watching my stream. No!
Ain't voice. Has gone bad or something? A voice? No, voice is coming from down the hall. Compared to yours, probably. Thank God I stopped for directions. A building this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and decidedly low energy. Appreciate you worrying about me. Not for a bit I try to be serious. While the other rings with youthful indignation. It's not like our job is important or anything. Definitely cops. And at this precinct, at this hour, they might be the only two living, breathing people in the whole complex. Because why else would you bother to print all that out? One document or 100 looks the same on a datapad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in hand. Makes them think you know better than their priest, their mother, their big brother. I wasn't gonna say that. So how many of these sheets were blank then? No red carpet tonight, officers? Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep many extra hands around at these hours. Probably faster to let the desk handle intake anyway. Well, mostly cheaper. Bad cop. Yeah, she is. Sorry. You the lawyer? I am. Morgan Esquire, pleased to meet you.
Same here, counselor. Quasim London. And the ball of sunshine here is my partner, Farrah Reyes.
Ball of sunshine? She certainly is. Huh!
Sorry if you were waiting. Chatter between the departments has been hectic all night.
It's no trouble. Gave me time to enjoy my cigarette. Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80? She can't be more than a few years younger than me.
We're the detectives in charge of this particular case. And it looks like tonight we're also your humble guides to the illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs.
Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. He never struck me as more than just some old-timer. I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in his profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face, though. Rigid in her posture and her attitude. 3 in the morning and still her shirt looks ironed. Freshly promoted, maybe? 2 whole detectives working at these hours? Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive.
No, we're not nearly that timey. Uniforms responded to the emergency calls within a few minutes.
Calls, plural, must have been quite the commotion. Look around. You think we're the first to arrive for anything?
She's not wrong. We were only tapped after circumstances at the scene indicated involvement with an ongoing investigation.
Our ongoing investigation. Not very subtle, is she? But I may as well bite at this point. So you suspect a client of mine's involved in some separate criminal activity?
Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't put it in a public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a little professional courtesy. A fair warning, yeah. That's the heartbreak killer in that room.
Who's that? And we've got the bastard dead to rights. So if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass this shitstorm onto some other night owl and go back to bed.
Body!
Ow, thank you. Thank you, Kaido. I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at the moment. So perhaps in the meantime you'd be so polite as to fill me in about this heartbreak killer?
They cover utilities? Sorry,
it's the little mean like they cover utilities at the rock you live under. Somehow I just knew chat was gonna howl at this game. Somehow I just knew. Thanks for the pats, Ravengool. Check out full release of new Paper Mario Hack. Yeah, I'll check it out. Maybe on stream after this stuff. Is there a problem?
You're seriously not familiar with HK?
Never heard of him. I've heard enough of him for a lifetime. That name has been plastered all over the city for weeks, their crimes wavering between breaking news and urban legend. Their presumed goals flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism at street corners, in the media, on the net. Everyone's indulging the exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand. But right now I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. And when it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. I take it he's a repeat offender? Was it the killer part that tipped you off?
You must have at least heard about his MO. Media's gone crazy with it.
Along with everyone else.
One bullet, straight through the heart. Body left to lie where it falls.
Hence the name Heartbreak?
Not exactly.
Creative, but amidst the swirl of every other 100-word article out there, catchiness trumps originality.
What you won't read online is that all 6 of HK's victims were shot by the same gun, without even needing to reload.
How do they know that? Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6? That's pretty good shooting, isn't it? Hitting the bullseye at the shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. But shooting 6 people with accuracy like that?
It's a whole different beast.
Takes a certain kind of monster, a real freak.
His pulse probably didn't even rise.
I see. Sounds horrific, sounds robotic. Also, my phone's been popping up stuff. What's up with this? Terms. Oh, interesting. Oh my god, there's so much to dig into here. Ooh. Profiles. Okay, so we can kind of see some info on these folks, including their blood type, and that she likes limes.
Heartbreak.
Okay, cool. Oh, save again. Let's save the game. Oh. Yay, I love saving. I love how this whole UI here is inside the damn phone. That's sick. This is really cool. Customize, hold on. Customize phone? Store credit?
I guess we're charmless.
I need store credit. I can get phone cases and angry rays and stuff in episode 2. I want Morgan time. Don't you want a phone charm of yourself? That's what I want. Backlog, okay. Sounds robotic. You almost make him sound like a machine. Is it possible that... No, it's not. There's no such thing as killer robots, madam. Of course, my mistake. So all those androids marching in the military, those robots patrolling police uniforms, those drones fopping dryer bombs, huh? Dropping firebombs from the sky. I guess they're all firing blanks.
Fair enough. Machines can kill, and they have been for decades, but they don't commit murder.
Right.
Evil like Heartbreak, it's all organic.
That's a pretty terrifying thought. I should really start paying more attention to the news. How I managed to miss 6 murders?
Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5.
Pardon? You're still not getting it? HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago, when we caught the son of a bitch red-handed. So you're convinced that my client is this Heartbreak killer, and tonight was just his latest crime? What's a serious accusation with very serious consequences? GameStop has recently started to label 360, PS3, Wii U as retro consoles, and 360 and PS3, I feel like, yeah, that makes sense. Wii U makes me feel a little old, though. But I mean, that was like my little siblings' like console when they were a small child, and now they're like, 19. So I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Damn, Splatoon's on a retro system now. That's crazy. I take it you have serious evidence to back that up? I was being literal, counselor. Red-handed. When we found your client, he was covered in her blood. Well, that's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling. Is that lawyer talk for open and shut? But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders?
It's all there in the discovery files. And the arcs, of course. Join the local net on your phone. We'll turn over everything you need.
I'll bet. Thanks for that, Detective. I'll be sure to read it over. But if it's all the same, could I ask you some questions while I've got you here? The hell kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives? I want to see those files, honestly, actually. Can we... Articles? No, not that. I guess... Arcs? Augmented reality crime scene. Okay. Reconstruct crime. There's a lot of lore in this. I said I'm gonna, like, read everything. I don't know if I'm reading everything. I don't know, maybe. This kind of attorney. You're just that pleasant.
Come on, sunshine. It's not like we're gonna be punching out anytime soon, right?
Whatever. Let your client stew in interrogation all night for all I care. You mean the counseling quarters?
We're at your disposal, counselor.
Ooh, I get to look around and hear... Barren, stark, and uninviting. This must be Ray's desk.
I ain't reading all that.
I like reading all that, but man, there's a lot. Keeping your workstation neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single mode of personalization. Is she so new she hasn't had time to unpack, or is she really that uptight and boring? Huh? Both, maybe. You shouldn't have cleaned up so much for just little old me, Detective Ludden. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system, or even just a stapler. Paper documents scattered about lazily, alongside actual photographs. Either he's really old-fashioned or really paranoid about data leaks. And he doesn't look like the paranoid type. Well, orderliness aside, some things are better on paper, I'll give him that. I really like the UI and all this stuff. I mean, obviously you could play this with a mouse and keyboard. I'm using a controller, just because it's nicer sounding for my stream. Latest Noble androids receive warm welcome. Bolstered by a strong earnings report and surging sales of the Animate 16, Noble Electronics stock rose a stunning 3% this week to a new record high. Let's see. I gotta skim some of this. This is a lot. Noble shareholders are happy. Investors are skeptical. The first generation of androids to feature over 50% organic components? Hello? They're making androids out of meat? So-called warm androids at that time only saw demand in the health, senior, and childcare sectors were looked down upon as impractical due to increased maintenance costs. Cuts, scratches, bruises, and the like. They're making people now. What the hell? Concerning fringe religious or traditional groups might find warm androids controversial. More business-focused minds feared that Noble was alienating its customers in the industrial and military sectors in order to cater to civilian consumers. Users that viewed their androids from across the room and not from above the factory floor, yeah. Why does Reyes give gender-bent Miles Edgeworth vibes? I mean, I don't know if I've made that read on her so far, but yeah, I mean, a lot of this game is gonna have that kind of vibe. And also, hi, Polish Lavender. Let's see. Poised to break profitability records, completely replace their more robotic predecessors within the next 3 to 5 years. Dr. Noble's famed lead programmer, Dr. David Ashur. I feel like he's gonna be important. Hashtag Noble Industry Weekend. Oh, who's watching the live stream? It's because of his Turing solution that every Noble product, from the sleekest assistants to the most advanced intensive care technicians, are so beloved and trusted by our customers. What are the odds he's digitizing like a human consciousness or something and just slapping it in a half robot thing, you know? While his reputation was on full display at the event, Dr. Ashur himself was nowhere to be seen. He's always been reclusive, but he's become a genuine hermit in recent years. Hey fam, looks like you're not logged into this device. Want to put in your account info so we can help you keep reading? Those paywalls, man, they really get you. He's in the news again. It's no wonder, can't spit without it landing on a piece of Noble tech these days. Especially not where the state's involved. Don't know if they'll bite when it comes to warm androids, though. For the government use, they're just... It was too frail, right? Yeah. All androids undergo wear and tear, especially if they're directing traffic or suppressing crowds. So if these warm androids bleed pink all over themselves every time they take a rock to the cheek, it's just an endless stream of bad photo ops waiting to happen. Yay, I'm smart. I understood what I read. Oop. Well, we're in the budget for making the office not look like shit, huh? I expected to find a lot of belt-tightening at Homicide, but I didn't think their operation would be this bare bones. They've got a stunning clearance rate, and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy with their deer doting surveillance state eliminating so much of the footwork. But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So Homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget. Dumping grounds for the police force's most unambitious and least popular. Okay, nothing else jumps out at me around here. I've got a better idea of who I'm dealing with at least. Now I need to check out the crime scene data. I should have been sent a link. You've been granted access to state files regarding case KL43351. Reply C to confirm. Okay, C. Oh. Confirm. You need to reply C in order to confirm. Oh. Am I talking to a person? I am an automated dependent. Ads are usually more polite. Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences. So the state likes you to be a little authoritarian? You need to reply C. C. It's case sensitive. C. Thank you. Wait, check that link, is it real? Alright, if I project from my phone... I love whenever sci-fi stuff has this like, what the hell? Has like, this kind of like transparent technology, like phones that you can look through, because man, do you really want people like seeing what you're doing on your phone from the other side of your phone? Like, I don't think most people do. All right, let's see what the police have and what they think is important. And that's like, that's gonna get glued into my brain, I think. The stand-up mirror shattered and knocked over. Real glass. No screens or cameras here. It was hit hard enough to come unattached from its arm while shards of glass were scattered far enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. Man, this, I thought like shot through the heart seemed like maybe it would have been a pretty clean case, but this does not seem like it. The victim's body. Cause of death, ballistic trauma, class 4 blood loss, atrium and aorta, single gunshot wound to the heart, and brief. Death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else, no blood or skin under her nails. Blood spatter, forensics, all that other good stuff tells them that she was shot from there. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. Alright, so she got chased in here. Seemed to impact this glass, knocked to the ground, then shot, maybe? Let's see. The murder weapon, a revolver found right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. Looks like the crime scene techs practically disassembled the damn thing. But all they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. So he was found by police with the murder weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement. Oh boy. This seems rough for a first case. Seems like this vase got tossed aside at some point. And yet there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. That's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this. People their age? How old? Hold on. Do I have info on the... Ooh, evidence. Ooh, autopsy. Okay, I wanted to see the victim. We don't have the victim's profile yet, okay. But no signs of forced entry, only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged here. Just a lounge chair that got thrown, and whatever that is. Unidentified ceramic debris? Flag is irrelevant? That's their technical assessment? Guess even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay. That's everything the police highlighted. But did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? I mean, I'd like to inspect that stuff a little more, but I guess, like, this is a virtual crime scene, right? So... Huh? The hell is that? Something in the victim's hand. How the hell did... It's just a pill organizer. Oh, that's kind of a cool looking one. Looks like some immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and Triprexisone, a synthetic glucocorticoid medication. Glucocorticoid, sorry. Taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. Autopsy said her tox screen was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city. It wouldn't change the cause of her death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Everything else here is very incriminating, but the kicker is that everything that's not here. The kicker's everything that's not here. Man, it's so hard to read sometimes. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, crumbs. Nothing that points towards anyone except my client. Well, I've done more with less before, but not much more. I'm only gonna have to sing for my supper this time. Better get started. Who the hell's messaging me at this time of night? First person who comes to mind is... I suppose it could be something important. Currently texting with Brat? Red! Oh, I couldn't wait until morning. Good news, of course. Got a job for you. That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated parole. It's not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard and a phishing scheme. I need you to sue my gym teacher. What? Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. Hey, at least let me finish. What did they do? Make me run laps. Not illegal. Let me finish. They made me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomachache. Said. Gotta be like youth endangerment. Depraved indifference or some kind of shit. Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time. What's with the blow-off? Nice phrasing. Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. See? See? Hashtag Devil Gang, yo! Hello, Lorea. Is that your mugshot? I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction. Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so anything cool? Homicide. Oh, cringe. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HBK? Is that the kind of morbid thing kids your age talk about? Teens my age? And yeah, we can read. Compared to the corrupt shit in the headlines. Old-fashioned murder, like Hardy B, is like... Hardy B, oh my god. Quaint. It's not heartbreak. Then why'd you take the job, lol? You see the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? You blows up? Kids these days always blowsing up. You taking up Lost Cause, probe nose work? Also, hey Game Wizard, it's pro bono. That was autocorrect. Probe nose. You know they give lit homework for a reason, right? This is borderline concerned nagging. Maybe you really are a bleeding heart. Or just a sucker. I'm not a sucker. Nice phrasing, lol. You should go to bed, Fran. Tomorrow's Sunday. I can stay up if I want. Wait, today is Sunday. Oh my god. Tomorrow is Sunday. Because today is Saturday. What's with the Carpe Diem shit? It's nearly 4 a.m., kid. You got school in like 3 hours. Shit! school on Saturday? Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure. Important text message, I take it? Just your typical teenage drama. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. Like, about the androids and comps. By the way, couldn't help but notice that you're light on staff. You know it's dystopic because they have school on Saturday. True. It's 3 in the morning. Were you expecting a parade? Oh, sorry, that was Reyes. I was supposed to go, it's 3 in the morning. Were you expecting a parade? Gorpusky, oh my god. I thought there'd at least be a few androids around.
Aren't many androids in any police station this week. Not while the brass is renegotiating contracts.
Contracts with Noble?
Good guess.
Hardly. They're the biggest robotics corp there is. Could spend all day in Center City without leaving their office's shadow. Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here.
Saves us some money on shipping, at least. But these talks never last that long, and I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks for Noble ads by the end of the month.
Even with Noble pushing those warm androids?
Warm, ugh. Might as well call it the adult line. Might seem in the bigger departments are out on patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective. Yet.
Any day now. Guess we should be expecting those any day now.
Maybe android lawyers, too.
Get some android politicians in and we'd have the full set. Get real. Oh, sorry, a little hiccupy. People might like ads who do what they're told, but they despise ads who tell them what to do.
I'm not so sure. Cameras, sensors, satellites, we already get all our facts from machines. Give it a few more years, it might make sense to let machines do the investigating, too.
The police union wouldn't let that happen. She needn't have specified. It's the only real union there is anymore. Damn. It is a dystopia. Alright, give me the details. How about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with?
Your client, Carlos Baker Flat, was arrested on the scene at 9:50 p.m.
Using his middle name already? They really do think he's a serial killer.
The charge being first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Miss Diane Dawn.
First degree? That's
increasingly rare.
To say the least. It's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. City's got damn near more cameras than people. So you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder. Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. So what's that make him? 5 times, and that makes him insane.
I was gonna go with extraordinary.
Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But nutjobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So what makes you think this was premeditated? How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up? A warm-up?
5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims, 5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies crawling up and down their online profiles, nothing.
So this serial killer chose his victims at random if they have nothing in common? Yeah, nothing in common at all, other than that they all look like cousins. Huh?
The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes, about the same height, comparable weight.
Well, those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be a coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. You're really gonna try and tell me you don't see the resemblance? A young woman, brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from a portrait, but I can take the hint. So you think what, exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly he went out and shot 5 other women first? Hey, if the shoe fits. If the shoe fits? Then you put the shoe on the... Huh?
What Sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences.
Drifters, loners, strangers, workers.
He's probably building up the nerve for tonight by practicing on these other similar women.
Or he's just so far gone he can't tell the difference anymore. It's not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. They want to claim that those previous victims are practice runs, dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there'd have been signs of hesitation, nerves. There'd have been mistakes. On top of which, guns are impersonal, execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. If you ask me. Huh? That was weird. Timeline? I saw the time of death was 9 p.m. on the autopsy, but do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events? Can't trust much of what comes out of his mouth, but we've managed thanks to less biased sources.
And we're pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements.
So they interviewed witnesses. Sounds eerily similar to real police work. Lore? The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another starting around 8 p.m.
Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us about the happy couple's domestic problems.
Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks.
As you probably gathered from what you saw in the arcs, there was a struggle. Furniture turned over, glass shattered. But things go quiet sometime before 9 p.m. And then there's a gunshot.
Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp. But we heard from enough concerned citizens to be pretty damn sure about the time.
Right. Emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 p.m. No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was. But the silence that followed was pretty universally alarming.
Officers arrive on the street at 9:08, establish a perimeter, enter through the front door at 9:10, and then they find your client crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood, at which point they moved to secure the scene and the suspect. Couldn't he have been, like, trying to, like, very ineffectively staunch the wound or something, right? Like, putting his hand, like, down over her heart if she's, like, bleeding out? I don't know. Sorry, did you say his hand, singular?
Your client's modded, cybernetic right arm.
How modded are we talking about here?
Registered with a HOW 85 Habilis. Habilis?
Industrial grade, looks like. Says he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to Class 4 KPA, which means a minimum grip strength of, well, basically, he could crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. Damn. Considering a career change? No, it's not that, it's just... Your eye must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. And here I thought you just had a 14-year-old sense of fashion. You think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable?
I actually thought the same thing the first time we met.
You what?
But getting back on track, that arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. He can't work without it. Money got tight.
The arguing?
Yeah.
When did he put his arm in for repairs?
8 days before HK's first victim was killed.
Well, no chance they'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence.
Your client was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver, and no one else's.
A revolver? What kind?
The old kind. The real old kind.
More specifically, a Calver M54, 6-chambered, 10mm. Calver? How retro.
You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags.
No tags? How's that? Just how old are we talking here?
Yeah, 24/7 location data, timestamp trigger pulls, safety coded to owner biometrics. For the past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous.
So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes? A gun that's at least, like, 40 years old or more, right? That's crazy. How else do you think he'd have gotten away with this 5 other times? If he tried to buy a gun legit, he'd probably fail the very first psych check. And even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in.
Update withdrawal.
So then, M54, that's...
Model year 2054.
A 30-year-old gun. Oh, okay, so 30. I thought maybe it was like a little bit older, but you know. Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it?
In some ways, sure. But pre-tagging firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country, and fewer still compatible bullets.
Kazlotl, hi! Doing the little kitty cats in the chat. I love to see them. The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old, too.
The novelty of his weapon has kept us in the dark so far, but now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good.
Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. But with the protocols they found, the techs were able to match the rifling marks on all 6 bullets to the gun your client was found with. Rifling marks.
Bullets from guns that old are marked by the barrel's shape. So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks...
We know that they were all fired by the same gun.
It's not as plug-and-play as tags are, but it's equally precise science, I assure you.
From what I understand, it's not.
And if that's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber.
Without even needing to reload. Now, if they've got the casings, they can probably match the other bullets to the casings, and yeah, that makes sense.
The caliber your client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that.
An untagged gun, just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a dead body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... They're as good as DNA evidence. That is not actually that good. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if this is going to play into that stuff in this game, or if it's just playing it straight with the typical, like, you know, detective, lawyer, crime type movie tropes, where, like, that stuff is, like, rock solid evidence, but we'll see. To summarize, then, you believe that my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend. And then he retrieved his weapon and shot her? Yeah, pretty much. How did he look when the officers found him? Guilty. How was his affect? Quiet, detached, stiff.
Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner.
That reaction may have lost him points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. As long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. Checking my phone here, and I have to say, you've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HK's crimes a secret. The less reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story. Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real weighty read.
It's not just journalists, though. All kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few weeks.
Can you blame them, though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species, but he's gotten away with... We know what he's gotten away with! Take a look around us, Detective. National DNA registry is robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen. Violent crime at an all-time low, and clearance rates at all-time highs. But you gonna spout some alt-pol bullshit about invasion of privacy? No, I'm not. People are safer now than at any other time in history, detectives. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along...
Good point.
London's trying to look like he can laugh it off, but pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need, to see someone charged, and that makes them predictable. What the hell was that? Yeah, well, even if there's nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates we starve the media for case details.
That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get.
But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. And why is that? Because none of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance system. Interesting. How is that even possible? I know that there are some rough areas in the lower wards, but Optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once? You think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did?
I understand your concern, ma'am, but Optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance system signing up to feed into the state security network. It's not perfect, just another one of the many public safety tools in our belt.
It's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to help us solve crimes, or at least act as a deterrent. One would hope so. Fat chance. Deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions.
It's like a safety blanket, one with very few holes left in it, but it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and the effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved. But the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts, and the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict.
I see. But those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You'd need to be involved with law enforcement, pub data, or city planning. They'd have mentioned it if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. His file says he's modded for heavy mass manipulations, not tech interfacing, so that just leaves city planning. Does he work construction for the city?
HK's only ever struck at times and locations where optics would be down. Even with the devil's own luck, can't possibly be coincidence.
Wait, so you're saying this crime was of the devil? When this woman was killed? Yeah, there was a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight, right on schedule, so to speak, and it included the area surrounding the victim's apartment. Well, what about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match?
There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes.
No footage and no forensics?
And no motives, tampering, or witness. It's been like hunting a damp ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon.
Until now. Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue.
Scanners, cams, drones, forensics, no matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But HK's the kind of monster who doesn't. Only reason we even caught him tonight was because he finished what he had set out to do all along.
So was my client on the list of suspects before tonight? Weren't you listening? There was no list of suspects.
We questioned some X's, a few CIs. Someone even spoke to one or two unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. There was talk about starting on some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with.
In other words, the only thing they could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. I love when her eyes light up red like that. It's cool. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly going to have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt. And why is that? Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk. That might make it a little trickier. Well, that's, unexpected. I'm sorry, you're now telling me he wrote a confession? Has it been verified?
Not yet. We have to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get to the front of that line.
Why bother? The note's covered in his fingerprints.
There's a copy in the discovery data, but I should warn you, it doesn't exactly make for light reading.
I'll have to manage somehow. I need to see this confession for myself. Oh boy, here we go.
Sorry for everything. Can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of it to happen. Can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't mean to at first, but I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough. I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please, forgive me.
That doesn't read like a murder confession to me. That's something else. That was difficult to read. I don't know.
I found it quite simple.
Barely legible, in fact. Oh, she had to read his handwriting. I guess I didn't have to. Well, got a spin on that? No need. But it's a confession. Not a confession that he signed, though, is it?
Not yet.
And not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation. Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer, and got you. Guess you're both lucky. Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he?
Look, Counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in cuffs isn't cruel or unusual, and that's for your safety as well.
It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger. He's killed 6 women. None of them were redheads. She's got a point. Seriously, though, I'd like to speak with him alone now. Camera's off, if you don't mind.
Mike's on or off is your call, Counselor, but we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. And the cuff, that is, stays on.
That worried about me? How chivalrous.
Yeah, my armor's practically blinding.
Gross. I'll start up the unlock cycle.
Counselor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I'd suggest you help him sign that confession.
Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the defense part of defense attorney isn't just for show, Detective.
I mean it. 6 people dead is one thing, but he's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. Oh, that's a capital crime if there ever was one. And even if the death penalty's not actually on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not going to like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in person, and it's
being challenged before the Supreme Court.
Yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Just remember, a plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from, well, that's probably a win for your client, right?
Prison sentences are generally lighter for those who plead guilty, that much is true. Saves the courts a great deal of time and money, and they show their gratitude with reduced sentencing. But no one will ever be grateful towards the heartbreak killer. Anyone convicted for killing 6 people, they'll never rest their mind another day in their life. I'm going to take a quick BRB. We will be right back. Seems like a good little spot for a quick break, because I got to run ads. And also I need to go AFK for a minute. So, be right back. It's depressing as hell in here. They need to liven this place up. That's true. They do. Carlos Flat, right? Hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. We've got a lot to cover, but this shouldn't take all night.
What are you... Look, I already told you people, I'm
not a cop, Carlos. Furthest thing from it. I'm a lawyer. Your lawyer, in fact. And I'm here to help you.
Yeah, well, they said that too. All of them did. Back there and here, kept repeating it the whole ride over.
It's great. Yay! I keep feeling weird putting on silly emotes because the vibe of this game is so overpowering. Yeah, but it's balancing us out, you know, so it's good. You gotta keep some joy in your heart while you're dealing with, you know, murders in the dystopian cyberpunk future.
They said that they were gonna help me, that they knew this was all a mistake. Then they said that I killed, acting like they were on my side, and they thought that I could have,
It's not their job to help you, Carlos. But it is mine, and I'm here now. He's still in shock. I need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, I'll just clam up even more. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's probably difficult to think, let alone speak. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions.
The police already
questioned you, I'm sure. But they were treating you as a suspect, not as a client.
Okay. So what do you want to know?
Tell me about you, Carlos. Let's start simple, something mundane, grounded, rote. I'd like to know a bit more about you first, Carlos. Something like, What line of work are you in?
I'm with city engineering. Or I was, or I should be.
As I thought, the police must be convinced he mapped the optics blackouts using data he stole from work.
My arm, I got it slotted for the job. And,
Carlos, I'm gonna need more than that. So what do I know? He works in city engineering, not a desk job. Reyes said he was modded for work, and that arm must be in custody at the moment. But based on his shoulder, it'd have to be pretty... Utilitarian? Do we have, like, any info about his arm? Yeah, there we go. Impressive combination of grip strength, dexterity, low cost of maintenance. Okay, so it's very utilitarian then. Utilitarian, yeah. He doesn't strike me as the type who's enamored with the aesthetics of modding. The young and restless and the rich swapping in neon and chrome limbs because they like the way it looks. Damn, I'd do that. The way it makes other people start looking at them. Damn, I'd do that! Sorry. No, he's pragmatic, grounded, and very unlucky. Yo, can I get like a cybernetic tail? Can I get like an extra arm, maybe? In which case, I should be too. You know, my brother wanted to mod.
really?
Really. I don't even have a brother. He had everything planned out, a whole career path of promotions and bonuses and the upgrades they'd afford him. Then came his 18th birthday present, test results politely informing him he's not a viable candidate. I'd kill for axolotl gills. Ooh, that'd be fun. Then I could breathe underwater too. Yeah. I mean, I'm an axolotl. I'm already, I'm already a cartoon axolotl. Hee hee! Wow! Look at me! Ha ha! Woo!
That sucks.
I think he felt relieved, actually. Seemed like it was a weight off his chest. Like he was glad he didn't have to choose. Does that make any sense? Yeah, wahoo, yippee! Oh boy, I love being a little cartoon axolotl, yippee, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think it does. I always figured if I'd start at all, I'd start small, a hand or an eye, test the water. Never thought about lobbing my whole damn arm off, but the recruiter was... Is that supposed to be lopping my whole damn arm off? Or is lobbing also like a normal term for that? I don't think I've heard lobbing for that before. Enthusiastic. He said, because of the NCDA, there was financial aid and resources. Because that got shit canned. So now me and every other modder is royally screwed. Couldn't even let me keep the tax credit.
The new Citizens with Disabilities Act was amended, not repealed. But I doubt he'd appreciate the distinction at the moment.
I work the tighter spaces, the high volt environments, mostly canopy upkeep. Typical stuff for modders, you know.
He's speaking freely now, don't need to do much more than repeat his words back to him to keep him talking. The right word choice here or there can still make a difference. You work on the canopy, you must be, Oh, hey, under a lot of pressure is a different color. That must be from the article I read. You must be under a lot of pressure now that the subways are cordoned off.
Damn straight, and this crap with Long. Once word got out that the case against him was real, every desk job in the chain became terrified of their own shadow. All of them convinced that Internal Affairs is gonna come knocking if they misplace so much as a paperclip. Everything by the book means no room for compromise, no room for problem solving.
No room for engineering?
Yeah, no patience for screw-ups.
He's trying very hard to not look at his shoulder. Why aren't you wearing your prosthetic right now, Carlos?
Yeah, that. Rejection issues starting last month. A lot of sleepless nights.
Rejection? Did the therapy not take?
It's not like that. I wasn't oozing pus out of my sockets or anything.
Then do these rejection issues have anything to do with your scars?
Not in the way you're thinking. I'm right-handed.
So his cuts on his face are just from shaving? He's just bad at shaving?
Never thought this would go on so long I'd have to relearn how to do everything. I mean, the problem started small, trembling, but then spasms. Just oversensitivity, they said. An easy fix.
But the problem got bigger.
Couldn't let it get that far. Need to be able to trust your own hands when they're on the job site. Drop a cutter at the wrong moment.
Sorry, I'm kind of flipping like between like three voices for him. I'm trying to settle into like a kind of a Keanu Reeves thing, but it's a little hard.
People could get hurt. So I sat down, made an appointment, turned in my arm, and watched my case get placed at the back of the damn line.
Where did you turn it in?
Some mass turnaround chop shop with a waiting list like you wouldn't.
Doesn't sound like you're a happy customer.
Hell no! I'd found a dozen other clinics with shorter wait times. But as long as I'm renting and not owning, the manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance. And that's why I'm sitting here with this expensive-ass stump for a shoulder. I haven't been able to work in weeks. Bosses were generous enough to say my position might be there when I get 2 working arms again.
You couldn't buy or rent a replacement yourself just in the meantime?
I serve at the pleasure of the state. And they've got exclusivity contracts with Hindi, all locked up white-knuckle type.
Hindi? How Industries? As I recall, he's registered with one of their habless models.
If I took one step on site with uninsured tech, forget the fines. I'd lose the down payment and my arm. And I'd never work in this city again. If this was last quarter, maybe I could have worked something out with management, but like I said, no one's sticking their neck out for anyone now that longs in deep hot shit.
You mentioned discomfort. Are you in pain?
Pain will come and go. It's the itches that'll kill you. And the phantoms come back pretty fast when I don't have anything. Arm-shaped, attached to me.
What?
Didn't they give you something to, well, wear in the meantime? Something the clinics lend out for cases like this?
What they gave me is a deadweight, 3-jointed, landfill bait piece of shit! Sorry, it's a very shitty feeling having a part of your body that you know they cut corners on.
Damn. That's real. I mean, like, you know, it's real.
It fits, it's compatible technically. I can slot it in and feel on balance again. The fingers don't even bend, and the quick twitch motors are way off. It's like walking around with your arm asleep. You're dead.
Fingers don't even bend? What the hell kind of prosthetic is that? That's useless. So were you wearing it when... when you were arrested? Were you wearing it when you were arrested?
No, I wasn't. But I'm pretty sure I saw the police bagging it as evidence, so... Can't have gotten too far.
So Detective Reyes was being quite literal about how he was found. He had the victim's blood on his left arm only, because at the time in question, he didn't even have a right. No inconsistencies in the story so far, and he's opened up about as well as can be expected. But this has all just been a warm-up for the both of us. Now comes the delicate part. Carlos, you and the victim were romantically involved. How long did you two know each other?
Right. I've known her since college. We shared a few classes, some mutual friends. Always got along. Eventually we just got together at some point. Guess I never actually asked her out the real formal way. Sounds pretty cowardly saying that out loud. Diane, she was in genetics. Focused her studies on agriculture.
It always takes them a few tries to get used to using past tense.
Just finished her post-grad work this year. Got hired right out the gate. Practically headhunted, can you believe that? Practically headhunted. Of course she was. Any company would be lucky to have her, unlike... It was a real-ass job, paid real-ass money, too.
So her career was starting to pan out. Right as yours had fallen into the mother of all slumps. Where was she hired?
Peregree Laboratories. I say that like the name matters. The whole setup's under Harco's umbrella.
That doesn't narrow it down. The Harvest Corporation grows 1/3 of the soybeans and corn in the entire country. One client that size, the lab wouldn't need any others. No corporation earns the mega prefix without a little throat cutting, but Harco is about as tame as big business can get. Predictable like the seasons, no one's gonna buy that they had some lab tech murdered because of corporate greed. Had she adjusted well to her new job?
Yeah, they loved having her there.
She never mentioned arguments or disputes? Corporate politics getting rough?
I don't think so. Not like I've been a good listener lately. But I never got the impression that she... Look, no one I know could do this to her. And there's nothing she could have done that would deserve what happened to her.
That was a long shot, hoping for a disgruntled character from her past to shift blame onto. But with no other suspects, I can't just reshuffle the detective's suspicions. I'll have to disprove their argument entirely. Thank you, Carlos. That was very helpful.
It was?
Now, I'd like you to try and tell me whatever you can about what happened tonight.
Oh.
Start at the beginning and take your time. The details are important.
All right, Miss,
Morgan.
I'll try, Morgan.
I feel like it's important at this point for us to take a look at some of the evidence here. The ARCS data, we know that stuff. The revolver, fingerprints matches his hand with 99% certainty. 99% certainty. Rifling, yeah. Okay. The pill organizer. I feel like the triprexazone is gonna be important. Surprisingly difficult to open. Okay, so that's a little bit of a cue. Glass shards. Low tech furnishing, no digital components. I guess we should look into the victim info. 27-year-old agricultural genetics researcher. Shot through the heart in the bedroom in the apartment. She shares with Carlos. Okay. What is with this scrolling? It's like weird. Vase. Weighty and sturdy. Yeah, it's still intact. The rental arm. Okay. This is the one that he was using when he was caught or when the crime was committed or just at home at the time. An affordable model. Issues with finger articulation. Oh, so it's supposed to have finger articulation, but it just doesn't. It just does not work because it's a damn rental. That sucks. Then his prosthetic. Submitted 5 weeks ago. Oh, some of this is getting updated as we're getting info. Okay. We're going to have to ask him about that letter. The coat. Blood on the left sleeve matches that of the victim. Right, that's the only arm he had at the time. Weird ceramic debris. Okay. Terms. I don't feel like there's any crazy terms that have popped up that I don't know what's going on with them. Phantoms I'm interested in. This is just phantom pain, right? Yeah, this is just describing phantom pain. Did you mean phantom visions? Phantom visions are caused by faulty insulation on cybernetic eye mods, resulting in periodic electrical discharge across the retina. Interesting. Virtual work release. Search results for VWRP. Due to ongoing controversy following the suspected suicide of inmate Jay Galley, search results for this term are temporarily blocked. Optics, yeah, we kind of know about that. Mod therapy, adjusting the human mind, physical therapy, mental technique instruction, sensitivity training. Sensitivity training? Like in Metal Gear. Wait, you're right. Metal Gear. Ah. Okay, I think we're kind of up to date on a lot of this. Oh, he dislikes musicals? Well, he probably killed her then. When you're ready.
We were arguing. We had been arguing a lot lately. Arguing about stupid stuff. I haven't been working, haven't been making money, haven't been pulling my weight. I was mad at myself. But more than that, I was jealous of her. Jealous over nothing. Jealous over goddamn money!
The reports say you were arguing around 8 p.m.?
8? Yeah, must have been when we started. We got into it, and I said a lot of things I shouldn't have. And I said one thing I really, really shouldn't have. I crossed a line, and we both knew it, so I left.
You left?
Yeah, walked out the front door. Thought some fresh air might help me cool off. Help me figure out what to say to make it up to her. Of course, the air wasn't fresh, just humid. Thick like mud. And while I was pissing away the time, Diane was...
Did you bring your phone with you or any other electronics?
No. I kind of stormed off, didn't even take my key fobs. Didn't even lock the door behind me.
With optics down, traffic and street level cameras won't help him. That leaves... Did you go through a checkpoint or talk to anyone with modded eyes? Did you buy anything? Cash or credit?
No, not even a vending machine.
Not even a damn vending machine, huh? I may have met my match. How can anyone be this unlucky? That's quite unfortunate.
I just wanted quiet. I wanted to wallow in it, really. Sorry if I don't have all the details straight. My head is... But if my exact route would help, the cams probably... What is it?
The cams.
Optics was what? Can that even happen?
And there's no other proof that you were out at the time Diane was killed. Meaning you've got no alibi.
This can't... Listen, I didn't do this. I couldn't...
Carlos, I'm the one person you don't have to try and convince. After all, I'm your lawyer. So let's just get it all out there and see what we've got to work with.
Right.
Now, you said you left to clear your head. So what made you come back?
I came back because I heard a noise. A loud noise. I didn't know what it was. But it was loud and it scared me, and it came from the direction of our apartment. I was walking back at first. But at some point I must have started running because when I got back I was so out of breath. And when I saw that, the front door was open. Something dropped in my chest and my lungs wouldn't...
You live on the first floor, right?
Yeah, first floor apartment, street-facing entrance. We were proud of that when we first moved in. Like it was some kind of big deal. From the hallway I saw her, but I didn't realize. I never thought that she was... The lights were off, the whole room was a mess. I thought we had been robbed or she had fallen, or there was broken glass, furniture knocked over. And she was... I called her name and she didn't move. I checked her pulse and she was still warm, her blood was warm, and I saw...
The gun.
It looked so heavy, I thought it had to be fake, because I didn't want it to be real.
Is that why you picked it up?
What? Picked it up? I didn't touch that thing! I didn't shoot her, damn it!
Doing what I do, you hear a lot of lies. White lies, blatant lies, hasty lies. Bad lies, especially. For me, it's always been easy to spot a lie, but it can be hard to know what to do about it. I have all the proof I need in my files, but he's nervous and defensive. None of this works if he doesn't trust me. Don't know what you're talking about. They'll stop giving you any credit. You did touch the gun, Carlos, and that's just a fact, and we know because...
The evidence! The evidence! His fingerprints, he's on the gun!
Of your prints. It's a fact that your fingerprints are on that gun.
What? But I...
Morgan, you gotta stop aura farming. I don't know if she's capable. She's either aura farming or she's like in customer service mode, which, you know, when you know, that's also aura farming, honestly.
I didn't do this! I wasn't thinking, I just...
Carlos, all I'm saying is that you picked it up. That's all.
Would you believe me if I said I didn't realize it was a gun?
That explains how his prints got on the gun, but not in a way that would satisfy the police. Still, if all he did was hold the gun.
So stupid. I know what a gun looks like. But seeing it in my own home, right in front of...
You were in shock, Carlos. You still are.
The police came in some time after that. I don't remember much of what they said. Things started moving fast. The rest of my night went probably the way you'd expect.
Carlos, you admit to having a verbal argument with Diane, but you said you were surprised to see the room trash when you got back? To clarify, you're saying that you two never had a physical fight?
What? Physical? We never fought. We never fought like that. Did the police say we did?
They assumed. Which means they also assumed the room was disheveled well before the shooting occurred. Considering what Carlos has told me, what else did they assume?
What is it?
I'd like you to take a look at something for me. The crime scene.
Oh.
It's an AR module built from data taken as the police entered, so
Right, it's just that...
It's just data, Carlos. No grisly details.
Okay. Let me see it.
Take your time.
Alright, I think I've got it. That's how the police found things. No.
Oh, sorry. That's how the police found things. Now close your eyes and think back to how the room looked when you left. Try and focus on what's out of place.
Alright.
I'll take notes. You just say whatever comes to mind.
I don't remember exactly where everything was. But, well, the mirror was upright, of course. And that clock was still on the wall. The chair got knocked over at some point, and the bed got tossed, the cushions torn, and the urn fell. Other than that... No, sorry, that's all that stands out to me.
I see. Like so? Wow, she's skills of an artist. What's wrong? Something out of place? Carlos, you need to trust your instincts. If anything seems off, don't be afraid to speak up.
It's just, I guess I just assumed your notes would be making edits to the AR.
Well, I suppose that works too.
Sorry, I didn't mean... I think your drawing was pretty good, considering...
I'd like to change the subject now, Carlos.
Right.
Let's talk about the letter that was found on your desk.
Letter? What do you mean?
I mean this letter here, do you recognize it? Because the police are calling it a confession.
A confession? But this is just a note to self!
Pardon?
Look, when we fight, I lose my temper, say things I don't mean to. So this morning I tried writing things down so I'd have a script to stick to. I could apologize to her instead of just fighting with her.
Carlos, you say the note that you hurt them?
That's... I broke her fidget tubbies. I broke her fidget tubbies!
What the fuck's a fidget tubby? Her what? Her what?
Her fidget tubbies! Her fidget tubbies, man! I'm fucked! I'm fucked! They're these collectible ceramic character things. They're supposed to be like tactile, you use them as paperweights or conversation starters.
Her Funko Labubu's! No! Conversation starters?
She loved those little things. They're not worth a damn. You can buy them at any flea market or garage sale, but they meant a lot to her. And I broke them. I mean, I was pissy at the time. But that goddamn piece of shit rental arm, I hardly know where I'm swinging at half the time. Got so angry I just ripped it off and tossed it in my room. A cheap, dusty, worthless.
Okay, let's say he did break her frigiduckies with her replacement arm. What does that change? Well, you see, the fidget tubbies are ceramic, and there's ceramic junk all over the floor, so they're shattered. Nothing at the moment. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. But if the police insist on claiming it's a confession for the heartbreak killings anyway...
Couldn't even bother to sweep them up, I felt so...
Alright, Carlos, thanks for answering my questions. Now, I'm going to call the police back in here, and I'm going to get this cleared up for you.
What? That's it?
That's it!
Oh, okay.
Although, before I do that, I do have to ask, what did you know about the Heartbreak Killer?
Heartbreak? You mean that psycho that was trending all month? I mean, as much as anyone, I guess. I haven't been getting out much, but I'm sure everybody's on edge, a guy like that out there. He shoots people through the heart, right?
Police have kept the victim's appearances far away from any upstanding news sources, so unless he was already following the murders, Carlos wouldn't notice any resemblance to his girlfriend.
I mean, she was shot in the chest, but that doesn't mean anything, does it?
If he's this slow on the uptake, it's going to be a real shock when those officers walk here and accuse him of being a serial killer. I'll just have to squash that theory as quickly and definitively as possible. "4:04 a.m. June not found."
I didn't realize you could smoke in here.
technically, I can smoke wherever I want. For a fee. $3,000!
I guess so.
Nervous? Don't be. I'm the one who's on the clock.
Right, I'm sure this isn't your first time doing this.
No, of course not. It will be my first homicide defense, though.
Oh.
Why does everyone always think the first time's so goddamn important? Hey, cheer up! I've got relevant experience in other areas.
Oh. And, what areas are those?
You ever gamble, Carlos?
No, ma'am, I never go anywhere near loot boxes. Won't touch the stuff.
Yeah, he's smart. That's how they get you. I meant more like playing cards.
Oh. Well, then, no to that, too. I've actually got pretty terrible luck.
Help my budget. My family is dying. $30 rent, $400 the ominous fee. What? Oh, sorry. I read the formatting all wrong. Oops. Sorry, I ruined your joke. It was a good joke, though. Could have fooled me. Well, what I do is a lot like poker, Carlos. Poker's nice because even if you're dealt nothing but crap all night long, you can still win. Which makes things pretty fun.
Okay, so, do you have a good poker face?
I like to think so.
And are you lucky?
Only when the stakes are high.
And, in this metaphor, we're playing poker, and the state's the dealer?
If only. No, the state's more like the house.
You mean like the house always wins?
Yeah, they're very good at it. Winning, I mean. That's why they're up there and we're down here. That's why they're the house.
So what do we do?
We play the cards we're dealt as best we can. Win more hands than we lose. Keep it up and eventually someone will come over and tap the dealer on the shoulder, whisper something in their ear, and then we'll be politely asked to leave.
That doesn't sound very triumphant.
The house always wins. So our definition of victory is more like, don't lose.
Thanks, Morgan. But I guess I was more asking, like, what should I say?
Just leave all the talking to me.
So that's the strategy. What?
You know there's a saying about gamblers with strategies. Yo, ready to confess yet? Because I already woke up the DA. Already? She must be new. The district attorneys have final say on whether or not a case is brought to trial. Only fair, since they're the ones who end up having to actually prove the damn thing. Most of them prefer simple guilty pleas over long protracted trials, and they all dislike having their time wasted. Unfortunately, then you'll have to call them back, because my client is not guilty. And frankly, I'm not even sure you have enough to hold him here.
Right! What she said.
You got a weird sense of humor, counselor. Different generations, I guess. Before my time kind of thing. I'm very serious when it comes to defending a man's innocence, detective.
Counselor, we have your client's written confession.
His written confession. Let's start there.
Okay,
We'll be happy to. But the rest of every argument starts with the facts, what's already known and agreed upon. Public knowledge for every player at the table. It's pretty simple, counselor. Real paint-by-numbers stuff. See, we found a note at his apartment with his fingerprints on it, apologizing for how he hurt them all so bad. Now, how are you planning on spinning that? Those are the facts. Oh, hello, ma'am. But I've been building up my hand all night, and now I've got the weapons to answer anything they try and throw at me. Well, my client did write that note, and it was an apology, but not for murder. He was apologizing for... ceramic crap near western window. Says I can mouse over things. Do I have... He wrote a confession. Oh, there's all sorts of... This up here, too. Wow. I haven't been using the mouse. I prefer to use a key or controller, but, like, you know. Oh, that's the quick bar. Oh, the quick bar. We should save. It's the ceramic stuff, man. It's the Labubu's. He was simply apologizing for this. The hell is that? I found myself asking the exact same question.
What are we looking at here? Something from the crime scene?
This diagram of the room is created from data you captured, right?
I'm gonna blush if she puts out that goddamn...
Yeah, man, what the hell?
Pure GMO augmented reality crime scene data, yeah.
What's non-GMO?
Not much these days.
Ba-dum-punch. Notice anything out of place? Yeah, the whole room's full of busted shit. It's the scene of a murder. Full of busted shit, for sure, but I was more referring to the unidentified ceramic debris found on the western side of the room. The hell is that?
Ceramic debris, huh? Must be from the vase that got tossed.
Actually, that's not possible.
Oh.
Because that vase... wasn't damaged. It wasn't. It's not possible for that debris to have come from the vase, because that vase is still pristine. How is that?
How is that possible?
Great question. Video game froze slightly.
The lady at the garage sale told me it was so old and delicate. Damn it, the one time I tried thrift shop on my own.
Well, so what? What does it even matter?
If the vase doesn't have a scratch on it,
then the debris must have come from somewhere else. That debris is what my client wrote that apology over. You're saying that confession was his apology for not vacuuming? I am, because that pile of rubble is all that remains of the victim's collection of fidget
tubbies.
What he said. Mr. Flat broke the victim's ceramic figures by accident, and this impassioned note to self was just his attempt at scripting out an apology.
Can you prove that?
We're taking this seriously? As much as I wish we weren't. We're all in agreement that my client wrote that note, and we can all plainly see there's ceramic debris at the crime scene. Now, since it couldn't have come from the vase, it must have come from the collectibles. Simple, right? The hell are you on about? The entire room was trashed, as the arcs clearly shows. Those fidget tubbies must have gotten pulverized during the struggle, too. You really gonna claim he sat down to write an apology for breaking her toys after gunning her down? Not a bad train of thought, but I can do better. No, those collectibles were destroyed much earlier than that, and there's proof. Dusty? Is it actually Dusty? Discarded it in frustration after smashing the victim's collectibles. I mean, this is what was used, but like... I mean... We can't have the note counter the note. That doesn't really make sense. I guess it's the rental. Just take a closer look at the rental you took into custody, because he kept calling it Dusty. Huh? One swipe of your finger should show exactly how devastating it was to the fickle buddy ecosystem. Hello, I'm in the depths of hell. Hi, Raven Ghoul. That's great, because we're of the devil today. It's fidget tubbies. Whatever. You did take it into custody. I'm sure your techs found ceramic debris on it, yes?
Now that you mention it.
Fine, whatever. He broke them with his arm while he was killing her. Happy? Overjoyed because...
Because even a cheap arm's got an operating system that'll log the last time it was worn, right?
That's the devil from the hell dimension.
Wow. Right.
See, I happened to spot a footnote on the lab report. It said that rental hadn't been used since the AM.
Whose side are you on, old man?
It's gotten pretty late, Sunshine. Just trying to save us all some time where I can.
Oh, thank you for your service. Well, thank you for your service! Oh no, they're so alike. Are you seriously buying this crap? Just look at how scrawled, how panicked that note is. You expect me to believe he was that upset over a fidget tubby collection? One that hasn't even been graded?
Ungraded fidget tubbies?
Setting aside Detective Reyes' surprising depth of knowledge when it comes to collectibles, you're correct. They held no real monetary value. It would be odd for Carlos to be so shaken over their loss. But so what? So what? After all, that's not panic you're seeing on that page. No, the only reason that note looks that way it does is because Carlos is right-handed. He can't write worth shit with his left.
Yes, I am. Did they not know that? Shouldn't that be on my permanent record or something?
So the reason why that note looks like asylum while scribbles is just because he had to use his left hand to write it.
I tend to think better writing than typing. And I needed to get used to using my left anyway. I just thought it could be good practice. Taking that into account alongside the ceramics.
Your slam dunk confession is looking about as watertight as a fishnet. Okay, fine. Forget about the confession. Congratulations, counselor. You established that your client's remorseless. Now let's get back to the reality of the situation. Here are the facts. We found your client at the scene of the crime, wearing a coat covered in the victim's blood, right next to a big old goddamn gun that just so happened to have his fingerprints on it. That's right, that coat is... What, you gonna claim it's not his, that he actually wears an extra small? She's trying to bait me, in her typical low-key fashion. You won't always have the stronger hand. Oh. Just hold your tongue and avoid overcommitting. Try to lose as little credit as possible. Okay. She must have something. No sense playing into it. Something you'd like to ask me, detective? I'm just curious. What'll it be next? You gonna tell me he actually wears an extra small? How do I, he doesn't wear an extra small. I don't have any way to raise a guess, so sometimes I just have to stay. He doesn't wear an extra small. Gee, Carlos, do you?
No.
Yeah, sure there's no evil twin you've forgotten to mention? There's no evil twin. No, I'm afraid not. Not even gonna go for a mysterious third party at the scene of the crime. To prove his innocence, I need to get there eventually. But going there now without hard evidence? Do we have anything? I think we probably don't. Not yet. I have no evidence of a third person at this time. Damn right you don't. It's clear as day in the Arcs. No evidence of anyone but Carlos being there that night. So keep dreaming. It was obvious she had something there. I wasn't gonna win that hand either way. But at least I didn't overstep and take any more damage than I had to. We're not contesting any of that, detective. My client freely admits to holding that gun. He picked it up in confusion after coming home to find a brutal crime scene. Which was not smart.
Hey!
But not illegal either. And that's all. He had her blood all over his clothes. Yes, he did.
Right.
Do you have those clothes on hand, by the way?
The lab finished with them a while ago.
What are you getting at? It'll be easier to just show you. Would you mind getting them for me? You know what? Sure, I could use the fresh air. Stinks of bullshit in here anyway.
In here, I thought the room smelled like...
Psst, Morgan.
What are you doing? My coat's covered in her blood. Doesn't that, make me look really bad?
Just relax, Carlos.
I'm pretty sure that's impossible.
You're innocent. And that means having more evidence will always help you, not hurt you.
Really?
Really? Not really. Plenty of innocent people in prison. People with bad luck. Or bad lawyers. People shouldn't count on the truth to come out easy. More often than not, it takes coaxing.
What was it that it reminded me of?
Alright, here it is. One bloodstained jacket fresh from the lab. So what's your angle? You gonna tell us this is actually just hot sauce? No. That would be silly.
She actually thought it over.
So what the hell's your point? Hey, Sorry, just got thrown off by the turn of good fortune. What good fortune? You should thank the detective for bringing your jacket, Carlos. She's just proven your innocence. My client was arrested wearing this coat. He would have been wearing it at the time of the murder. It has the victim's blood on it. Hold on a second. We haven't, what's up with the coat? That's the victim. No other details of any significance found. Okay. Wait, it proves he was out. Why would he have worn the coat indoors? He went outside. That's why he had the coat. Yes. By a gun that happens to be an old world pre-tagging firearm. And so this coat proves he couldn't have been the shooter. Is there a gas leak in here? In what world does that make any sense? Sense happens to be key here. I just need to draw their attention to what they can. Smell on the coat? Feel on the coat? No gunpowder? Maybe? No gunpowder smell? Don't need terms. Revolver. Rifling. Muddy and hard from outside, maybe? I feel like it's got to relate directly to the murder. I feel like we're not proving he was outside yet. We're showing that if he had this coat on, it would have a sign that he was the killer. I think it's smell. I think it's that you can't smell any gunpowder on it, because it's an old school revolver. They've made a big point about how it uses real gunpowder. It's an old school revolver. Tell me what you smell. I don't smell anything except dried blood. Exactly. The coat smells like blood, but it doesn't smell of...
Cigarette! That's what I've been smelling.
Yes, Detective London, I was smoking earlier. Could you rejoin the conversation?
I've been listening. You wanted me to smell the jacket?
If you would.
Let's see. Huh. No gunpowder.
Yeah, I was right. What? What about gunpowder? Oh, don't blame yourself for not noticing. This was before your time. You can't be more than a few years older than me. But not before your partners, it seems. How old is he? It doesn't say? It just says he was born on May 5th. Okay, cool. We don't know his birthday. That's fine. See, gunpowder's weak by today's standards, but it's still volatile stuff, hard to store, prone to misfiring. And when it goes bang, it leaves behind an awful lot of evidence. The hell is she talking about, London?
Modern firearms like the ones we carry use electricity magnetism, even air pressure or sound waves. They've got more accuracy, more firepower, less recoil, less noise, and they don't leave behind any residue.
Gunpowder residue? You talked my ear off about how difficult it is tracking down a gun that doesn't leave digital traces. But a revolver like this one? It'd leave gunpowder on the skin of whoever fired it for days. So then his coat. If you don't trust your noses, you can check the lab reports. I think if they had found any gunpowder on my client or his clothes, they'd have taken the time to highlight it. Whatever. That just means he washed off after shooting her, or he changed his clothes. That's not impossible. But it would be pretty pointless. Huh? His jacket and his left hand were blood-soaked when your officers found him. Would he really go through all the effort to get rid of something as subtle as gunpowder residue? Just to get the victim's blood all over himself afterwards? In light of these details, I'd like to formally request that you reconsider the charges Mr. Flatt is facing. As soon as possible.
Whoa. Neo voice was right for him.
They're faltering now. Should topple over at any moment. The letter was mostly icing on the cake for them. That gun is all they had to link Carlos to any of the shootings, so it looks like he never actually fired the gun. I'll admit things were a little dicey there at times, but once I was able to grasp the situation, smaller pieces fell into place easily enough. Not my cleanest work by far, but overall I'd say... Did she get a message?
Wait, did they actually manage to find it?
Something you'd like to share, Detective Reyes? You're good. Twisting the truth into knots. making the facts work for you. Uh-oh. Thanks? But your luck just ran out. Because the net scrubbers found a cam active at the exact moment of the shooting. And right now, I'm staring at a photo of the killer. Wanna bet? A photo of the shooter. If she had that, we wouldn't still be talking. But I doubt she's just pulling this out of her ass. She's got something from the scrubbers. She must have something. I don't think she's bluffing. There's no reason for her to bluff. I'm not sure I follow, Detective. Didn't we establish that there was an optics blackout during the shooting? Sure there was, but this isn't from optics. Good thing I held my tongue. As I thought, the scrubbers must have managed to dig up something from outside the network. Which means... Party's over, counselor. Feast your eyes on this. Okay, well that's one of the mystery silhouette killers from Conan the Detective. Oh my god! Wow, it's happening. Detective Conan the Detective. Man, I'm mixing him up with Conan the Barbarian in my brain. That should be a crossover. Have they done that yet? They done that crossover yet? Well, okay, the quality is lacking. And yet, there it is. They managed to find a quarter needle of evidence in a whole city block of haystacks. What are the goddamn chances? No, with the scale their tools operate on, I guess chances are, as always, in their favor. Alright, this isn't good, but it's a far cry from the worst case scenario I envisioned. You could even say I got lucky, which means the stakes are... Well, it's a little bit...
Blurry.
Don't look at me, I didn't take the damn thing. Technically, no one took it. Looks like at this time of the shooting, a neighbor was on their phone.
Probably venting about how the crazy couple across the way was acting. But if their phone was on, its camera would be on. So we managed to get the shot through the window.
Where'd it begin? Far away, unfocused, ultra low resolution, zoomed in, blurred, color shifted, and so compressed it looks like it's from another century. This shit deep fried. There are tools that could enhance this image any further, and I could count the pixels on one hand. And you could kiss its admissibility and court goodbye. Am I crazy, or does the shooter have a right hand? Yeah, that too. That's probably our smoking bullet there. Ugh. You can't honestly claim that you can identify my client from this image. And there's no way in hell you could get this past a judge. Also, that jacket was like really big and bulky, and that person was not wearing it.
Yeah, you're probably right. We couldn't. But I think I know a DA that could. Either way, it doesn't seem like your client's leaving this police station anytime soon. That photo. What the hell is happening to me?
Think I know a DA that could? Don't be so modest, old man. We have photo evidence of a left-handed shooter standing in the hallway at the same time the whole neighborhood heard a gunshot. And who do we know that had their left-hand fingerprints all over that gun? You're referring to my client. You think? We've established he wasn't wearing his modded arm at all tonight. So he must have shot with his left. Yes, and we've also established he's weak with his left side. A left side that had no gunpowder whatsoever.
Forensics will never be perfect, counselor. Sometimes we miss things. Sometimes you take a walk through the rain, and when you finally get where you were going, you end up dry. But that doesn't mean it didn't rain. All of which is to say, before judge or jury, photographic evidence outweighs a failed sniff test.
Carlos is innocent. I know he is. But that photo shows a left-handed shooter. Carlos is innocent. That photo is real if both are true. And that means the photo doesn't show what it appears to show. So, at a loss for words? Never. I'm just confused about one thing. Where was this photo taken from exactly?
Exactly? Positional data is usually only accurate to the nearest public router. If we DNon the phone's owner and ask them where...
Why bother with any of that? Ballistics and common sense tells us that the prep shot from the room's doorway. The front entrance of the apartment faces to the south. There's a hallway that runs back to the bedroom. We're looking straight at the shooter, so it's pretty obvious this was taken from the north window. That clock on the wall! Got dinner? Hey, welcome back, Kaito. You missed the cameo from the mystery suspect from Detective Conan. If this is from the north, why can we clearly see the... Clock! It's not that complicated. The neighbor who got the shot must live on the other side of the street. So we're looking into the bedroom from the north window. If she's wrong, I should seize on the opportunity to start returning the tide. She's wrong. Yeah, because with, crime scene map, all right? That was their crime scene map. We can see that what it was afterwards, but that has the clock on the wall. Crime scene map has it on the ground, right? Man, this menu is really weird to navigate for some reason. Flat statement, yeah, see, clock on the wall. Mirror's upright, clock was on the wall. So that clock... Let's see, wait. From west, from the north. What wall is that? Yeah, it was taken from the west because we can see the clock. So that would have been the eastern wall. Okay, yeah, and there's a window there. Yes, okay. We have what we need to successfully raise here. I'm afraid that's simply not possible, Detective. This photo has to have been taken from the west. What kind of bluff is that supposed to be? The good detectives are misinformed here, and I need to take advantage of it. Just me noodles with a curry sauce? Ooh. And a bunch of chili powder? Ooh. Yum. That sounds good. Send me some. I want to eat that. Time to press the initiative. The hell do you mean this was taken from the west? The autopsy tells us the victim was shot from the doorway. Your officer's ARCS data tells us the precise location of everything in the room at the time they arrived. And now your photo has shown us the exact moment of the shooting. And... altogether, that tells us this photo must have been taken through the west window. As long as you consider... Clock was on the wall. Just take one look at the clock in that photo. The clock? What about it?
The clock, huh?
Seems like London's got an idea. If he's mistaken, I could pounce on it to keep my tempo high.
This photo was taken right before the shooting, so... Wait, don't tell me the time of death is wrong.
Hold on. 9 p.m. What time did that picture show? No, that shows 9 p.m. But I could play into it. But I think it's correct. That's a good question, Detective London. But the answer's no. Okay, good. I was like, am I like bluffing here? I don't see what that gets me. The autopsy, the clock, and the neighbors all agree the time of death was 9 p.m.
Right, no mistaking that.
So then what the hell were you on about? There's a clock on the wall in this photo, analog style, and it reads 9 o'clock. 9 p.m., the time of the shooting. The hell's so special about that? Nothing. There's nothing odd about the time on the clock. But do you remember there being a clock in the room? What?
Actually, I don't recall there being a clock.
That makes sense. You wouldn't recall seeing a clock, because when the police secured the scene, the clock had already been knocked onto the floor. And the only clock in that room is in the northeastern corner. And my client has informed me that before the crime, it was hung up on the eastern wall. Like so. What the hell is that supposed to be? An artistic rendition.
It's, very distinct.
If you had information on how the crime scene was before the shooting, why didn't you just add that to the ARCS? And show you my hand? Just because discovery law compels us to share info doesn't mean we have to play fair, Detective. Slipped my mind! I'll do that now. The important thing is, if that clock was on the eastern wall before the shooting occurred,
then this photo must be looking through the western window to see it.
Don't start getting ahead of yourself. The victim was shot at 9 p.m., the same time this photo was taken of the shooter. But you want to claim that that clock's still on the eastern wall when it would have been knocked down by it during the fighting. You've got your logic backwards, Detective. Your precious photo shows that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And there's one other piece of evidence that proves exactly how the cards fell. Oh, the shards fell onto the victim, so it had to be broken after they were on the ground. Wait. What does this do? Is this like how confident I am? I'm so confident, baby! Glass shards, what about them? Nothing much, really. Only that they're on top of the victim's body. And not under it. If the glass fell on top of the victim's body, that would mean that she was dead on the ground before the room got trashed. But that
doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone trash the room afterwards?
It's a good question, Carlos. Luckily, it's the detectives who have to delve into the minds of the criminally insane, not us. Tell me, detectives, were there any signs of a struggle at the crime scene? The other crime scenes?
Other crime scenes? No, nothing like that. Those attacks would have been over in a matter of seconds.
So what did you think when you saw the mess in the bedroom? That this was personal, things had gotten complicated. Shit happens. Shit does happen, detective. But in this case, it seems like there's been a general misconception about the order in which shit happened. So what if the room didn't get tossed over until afterwards? He still shot her. And we have a photo right here. And I'm glad you do, detective, because that photo proves my client's innocence. Huh? Proving that it wasn't my client who pulled the trigger is difficult. Maybe more importantly for all of us, time-consuming. Thanks to your photo, I can instead prove that it couldn't have been my client who pulled the trigger. Because the man in that photo can't possibly be Carlos. Like hell it can't! The glass shards prove the room was pristine at the time. Sorry, wrong voice. The glass shards prove that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And we know that until the room was tossed, that clock was on the eastern wall. Which means that this photo of the shooter was taken from the west. Back to this shit? That's impossible. The only hallway in that apartment runs from north to south. The only person with prints on that gun is your client. And the only fact that matters is he used it to murder 6 innocent people. You're a very honest person, detective. Excuse me? That's why you're such a shitty gambler. You've played your cards too early, and now I can steal the pot outright from under you. You're right about the hallway's orientation, you're right about the prints. And this HK figure has claimed 6 lives. But we aren't looking at the hallway in that photo. What? What we're seeing is the mirror! Max that shit. I'm right about this. What is that? You trying the glass shards again? Sort of. By the way, do you recall where those glass shards came from? Yeah, sure, they came from a standing mirror? A mirror that, at the time of the shooting, stood across the room from the western window. But then, that would mean...
At that angle, from that viewpoint,
it would reflect the hallway. So we're not seeing a shooter with a gun in their left hand. We're seeing a killer take aim with their right arm. I thought the clock would have to be in a different position. That didn't make sense. But now it does. Now it makes sense. And as we all know, my client hasn't had a working right arm in a number of weeks. And he hasn't worn his rental since this morning. So I meant what I said about that photo. I'm glad it was recovered. Because it just proved my client couldn't possibly have committed this crime. That should be the end of it. Except it looks like Detective Reyes really is a novice gambler. Sunk cost has got its teeth in her now, clawing up her spine, whispering wounded pride in her ear. It's a cold sweat, hot palms kind of fever. The impotent, irrational fury of losing something you thought was guaranteed yours. But lucky for you, Detective, I'm well versed in shock therapy. You look dissatisfied, Detective Reyes. That's one word for it. And allow me to put a nice bow on everything for you. In summary, my client's so full. Wow, fumbled that out of the gate. My client's so-called confession was just a note to self. The police found him in shock, reeling at the death of his girlfriend, and arrested him for being next to a gun he forensically couldn't have fired. After being confronted with these facts, he received photographic evidence of the exact moment of the shooting, and instead of utilizing said photo to track down the real killer, you tried to claim it depicted my client, a man without the requisite limb, standing in an architecturally impossible hallway. He could have had backup arm. He could have stolen one. A little stubbornness can be charming, but this kind of desperation is ugly. It's getting late, time to bare my fangs. A bit. Oh shit. That's the best you've got? Even a bare-bones prosthetic off the black market needs to be attuned to an individual's nervous system. He'd have to bring it into a clinic, which would have left a record on his shoulder OS. A record you won't find. And he'd still have to somehow have gotten rid of it before the police arrived. SOP at the scene of a violent crime calls for full spectrum scanning of the entire building 100 meters around it, minimum. So where, Detective Reyes, did he manage to hide a cybernetic arm from your drones in the time between the shooting and his arrest? Well? Any objections? Detective. God damn it! Yes! Now they fuck. Yeah, it's, look. You don't get the Yuri up front, okay? It's coming. I assume. I've been told it's coming. This is kind of Yuri to me, honestly. Reyes is, you know.
Show me your hand, Flat. You're uncuffing me? In light of the evidence, we have no reason to hold you.
Now I gotta go call the DA and tell her I made a mistake. Exactly. Kazalotl gets it.
Not we made a mistake, huh? Listen, kid, you should know.
Detective?
Lost my train of thought. But hey, your attorney's a real tiger, and she just fought like hell for you. Make sure you thank her properly. Public defense doesn't pay that well. Yeah.
That's kind of you to say, Detective. But my work is its own reward.
Sure. I feel exactly the same, Counselor. What happens now?
I'll have to speak with the DA about the dismissal, and there's still some paperwork we'll need to go through. But basically, you're free to go. Congrats! You get to leave the casino with your kneecaps intact.
Yay? But what am I supposed to do?
The detectives will continue their investigation.
Their investigation into heartbreak, huh?
Yes. When the authorities are satisfied with their examination of the body, she'll be handed over to the next of kin. And then you can make funeral arrangements.
No, that's not what I... Dan being gone is bad enough. But a serial killer? It's like she died of the flu. It doesn't happen anymore.
People die of flu all the time, but I know what you mean.
I can't make sense of it. So what am I supposed to do?
Hell if I know. There are some contacts I could give you. Services, professionals, doctors.
No, you've done more than enough for me. When you got here, I was too tired to even defend myself to try and convince them that I didn't. You saved me. Thank you.
You're welcome, Carlos, but it's my job to...
No, I mean, thank you for not asking. For not asking if I killed her.
Yeah, I didn't. Oh, Carlos. I didn't need to ask. I knew you were innocent from the start. Of course he was. After all... The blood's always different. Heart's always in the same place, easy to find. Hard to miss. But the blood's always different. A flowering stain unfurling towards an invisible sun. A perfectly unique bloom. Only one for each of us. Rorschach test with singular, universal meaning. Vitality at its climax. Bursting forth into a red fractal consisting solely of an infinite. The end. With the comical thud of a body hitting the floor as its own kind of lowbrow appeal. We're the devil! Bullet number 6 of 6, the gun's empty. It's useless to me now, may as well leave it. Feels like a waste, but whatever. Finding the ammo was almost enough of a hassle to outweigh the advantages. I could sell an untagged gun for a fair bit of cash, but cash can't buy you peace of mind. Oh, don't look so surprised, lady. Moping around in the dark here, must have only been able to see my silhouette. Did she think I was her boyfriend, back for an encore of that enthralling conversation? Can't ask her now. Hey. Yeah, you hear that? These old pieces are so goddamn loud. And people aren't even familiar enough with the sound anymore to know to run the other way. Probably roused half the neighborhood. I didn't see anything I could use even as a partial suppressor on the way in. Can they really not afford some throw pillows? Use the other 5 bullets in outdoor spaces and small spheres of blind opportunity that the city's eyes couldn't think to pierce. Cramped places usually full of trash. But this room, as cheap as it looks, is at least clean. Organized, even. So the corpse adds a certain satisfying contrast. Oh, she's a freak! I love it. Except, there's still shit on the floor. On the window, there's broken pieces of something fragile and tacky. It's fine. It's just one thing out of place. Actually, it's not fine. It's actually really irritating. I kick over the goddamn mirror. 5 perfect crime scenes, each of them not a speck of evidence, nothing to go on. For the final shot, there just has to be some pile of shit in the corner ruining everything. I kick the wall. Something falls from it, probably more tasteless bullshit. Toss over the chair, knock the urn. Tear into the sheets with my frustration and try to savor the shredding. It can't be clean. I'll just have to lean into the messy angle. At least it'll be consistent. This was all so stupid. Honestly, I'm not the ego-driven type. In fact, I pride myself on my humility. Now, was it satisfying when the first 3 went down with single shots? Yes. But so what? I'm not made of stone. After all that, I did start to actively aim for the heart, but... Ugh. Heartbreak killer? Really? Don't people have anything better to do with their time? What kind of miserable, lifeless voyeurs would obsess over something that's none of their business? All of the threads and breakdowns and the goddamn theory crafting, and all for the heartbreak killer. Sounds like a soap opera villain from a season where the writers were on strike. I'd feel insulted by the label, but no, that's someone else's name. They came up with it. They spread it. They marketed it. Heartbreak's got nothing to do with me. He's just some reclusive, lonely, socially impotent loser who shot 6 people because... Well, I'm sure people will come up with something. That he got rejected too many times or whatever. Me, I killed those people because I saw them and I wanted to. And I've killed a lot more than just 6. At least the room is thoroughly trashed now. If I had just walked away after seeing that mess by the window, it would have irritated me to no end. Now that it doesn't match the MO of the last 5 perfectly, it'll irritate the cops to no end instead. Good riddance, Heartbreak. You enjoy your 15 minutes in the spotlight. Really savor it. I'm going home. So that's why she was like, well, if that photo did show the killer, we wouldn't be talking right now. Yeah, lady. Here's Wadey tonight, thick, energized. A heavily foreshadowed summer rain I can feel on every hair. They call this kind of humidity oppressive, but I disagree. The warm tension on your skin. Like in those short moments just after the shower turns off when the steam lingers. Yeah, it's always most comfortable right afterwards. Maybe there's no disagreement to be had. Oppressive things can be comforting too. Only the guilty ones run. I don't know about that. But I know I've never felt guilty about any of this. And I walk. Damn, that was cool as hell. Wait, this game rules. 5:01 a.m., June 5th, 2086. Sorry, using my left is still... That's okay, you can just initial in those spots. I took a scenic route home, courtesy of our fine city's sprawling public transportation, and got in a bit after 11 p.m. I had myself a thorough shower, drank a glass of milk, did some stretching, made sure my phone was on. Time went by evenly. Around 1:40 a.m., a posting for public defender work came up. Decent rate, since it was so late and so urgent. I had wagered correctly that the boyfriend would have had enough sense to ask for a lawyer and enough debt that he'd need to be provided one. All I had to do was stay awake. There wasn't much competition after 1 in the morning.
Okay, where else?
Here and here. How did I phrase it earlier? Criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. Why wouldn't I take on a job where I already knew more than the cops? It would have been easy to convince Carlos to plead out. I would have gotten paid the same too. But easy is dangerous. Carlos was of course innocent, so his conviction would never be airtight. There would be doubts, questions, appeals, maybe even fans depending on his looks. More attention on HK and his crimes, more headaches. Cold case rotting in the very far back of the public's awareness is always preferable to one open and shut in haste. Now, with no more murders matching HK's MO, there won't be any additional public pressure to find a culprit. Now Heartbreak can just starve to death, out of sight and mind, like any other fluke in the system. Almost done. Getting involved with this case intimately does have its risks. Hell, I might have even overdone things here or there. Like lighting up a smoke inside an interrogation room just to make doubly sure I didn't still smell of gunpowder myself. She's a genius! Wait, I love this! That London fellow seemed more fixated on it than I would have liked, but obviously everything turned out rosy. And it's worth it for the finality of it all. Man, that dude doesn't know how to hold a pen. I mean, I get that he's not left-handed, but like, come on. Seeing the authorities' failings from the best seat in the house, that's just a bonus.
Thanks again, Morgan, for everything. I'm sure Diane is grateful too.
Funny. I didn't even know her name. Something the matter?
No, sorry, it's just... I was mad when I left the apartment. I know she was too. So when she died...
Death was instantaneous, Carlos. I can't imagine she was in any pain. In fact, I can guarantee she was dead before she hit the ground.
No, I know, but I just keep thinking that she must have died angry at me. She must have died hating me.
Present evidence? Do I have evidence that she didn't hate him?
Huh?
Hey. Code, no. The note. Prosthetics, I don't think. It's this photograph. Pill organizer. I get the triprexisone didn't come up at all. Clasps are surprisingly difficult to open. To tell you the truth, Carlos, there's something I've been wondering about myself.
What is it?
Something I noticed in the ARCS data that I didn't quite understand. Oh yeah, she had something in her hand. A piece of the puzzle I couldn't fit in anywhere else. But maybe you can make sense of it. Yeah, the pills. Meds for a moderate, non-lethal doses present.
What is the... Where did you find that?
Yeah, this was in her hand. Okay, that's right. That pill organizer was found on the victim. She had it grasped in her hand when she died. Obviously, the police added it to the ARCs, but it was quickly ruled irrelevant. Seems like it contained triprexisone, prescribed to help modders with phantom itches. They're small tablets, and those are tricky clasps, too, for a pill organizer. Could be hard to handle with an unsteady hand. No one will ever know what she was feeling when she died. Even if they did, feelings are complicated. You can feel angry, happy, and sad all at the same time. But as far as facts are concerned, it would appear that when she died, what she was doing was setting out your medications for the week. Oh. To my eyes, anyway. Aw, she was so sweet when we killed her. 5:01 a.m. Long night. That was too far just now. Practically rubbing it in his face. It's not like I care about his feelings. I doubt I'll ever even see him again. But overstepping like that is pure hubris. And hubris invites a downfall. So why did I even bother? It was the last piece of the puzzle, I suppose. I'll just need to show more restraint next time. Though there won't be a next time for heartbreak. The gun's in custody, there's no more bullets left. There won't be a 7th victim. There won't be any more leads to pursue. The media will move on to their next obsession. I'll move on to my next MO. And no one will... Found you. District Attorney Rockford. Sorry, can I try that again? I'm so fried. By all means. Counselor Morgan, morning, noon, or night, you're always so put together. Thank you. I don't get it. How do you sleep at night? Pardon? You do white noise? Aromatherapy? Whatever you're doing, I need to steal it. God. I must have bags under my eyes dark enough for the dumpsters. Assistant District Attorney Emma Rockford. She's a prosecutor, the lawyer who argues for the state in court trying to prove a defendant's guilt. Wait, our Edgeworth is like... me? Wait a minute, that's just me! I mean, I'm not like a prosecutor, but I'm pretty cute. She's probably the sharpest person to fill the position in decades. She's just like a disaster and she's tired, and that's just me. Since I haven't beaten her once. I'd even wear that outfit, it's great. It's got the turtleneck, it's got the big white coat, like I'm into it. Worse yet, she has the remarkable ability to compartmentalize all the adversarial energy and only bring it out in the courtroom. It's part of what makes her good at her job, and hard for me to read. Should I buy a new mattress? What have they got you doing at this ungodly hour, Emma? Oh, well, actually I'm here for you. Me? Your client was a suspect in the Heartbreak killings. That's my case. Well, then you must have been relieved finding out that you won't have to go to trial against me. No? Why would I be worried about going up against you? It's always the unintended barbs with her. So you're working with those detectives? Yeah, London and the new girl, Reyes. They've been reporting to me in preparation for the trial. Preparation for trial. That seems ambitious. I guess they gave you the rundown. They've been doing everything they can, but it's hard to catch a killer who leaves behind so little. It's hard to kill while leaving so little behind. So Reyes told you they had HK in custody and you popped out of bed all excited to run down here? Hardly. I haven't slept in 40 hours. Too much on my mind. So when I heard about a case with a single female victim shot through the heart, yeah, my ears perked up. But that's about all. Oh? I mean, Carlos Flat, a serial killer? The same serial killer that's outsmarted the state for weeks? She's not using his middle name. He was found with the murder weapon. But I can answer that any number of ways. She's smart. We shouldn't show her the photo, right? But it is the most definitive evidence. This is tricky. Because now I have to play this game of prove it wasn't him, but not tip her off that it's me, right? So we keep it on flat, right? We keep the topic on flat. Well, to the rental. That may be true, but then I glanced at the report. You glanced at it? No gunpowder residue on him or his clothes. Right. Too remorseful, too apologetic in that note. Whatever it was about. His dominant arm modded? With documented sensitivity issues? Never could have made shots that clean. Not without getting close enough to leave scorch marks. Not to mention he's too tall for the ballistics entry angles, and probably too heavy not to leave imprints. She got all that from a glance? But I'm sure a competent lawyer like yourself pointed all that out the minute you walked in here. Of course! Worst part is she's not even being sarcastic. Yeah, of course it couldn't have been him. Long-term relationship, physically imposing, argumentative, not the type to bottle things up. He didn't match the profile. Profile? Yeah, Right, sorry, you probably never heard of it. I know what a goddamn profile is. A profile is a reconstruction of a criminal's psychology based on evidence from their crimes. Kind of fallen out of fashion for the last few decades. Not much need to guess about the why when 99 times out of 100 the who is caught on camera. Or before they even leave the house. I've had to find some real fossils and oddballs to get advice on how to go about it. But I think I'm getting the hang of it. So this profiling, it's some kind of investigative technique? The theory is that a crime can tell you something about the nature of the person who committed it. Stabbing, overkill, points to passion, rage, or lust. They probably knew their victims. Poison and guns, meanwhile, suggest they can't overpower their victims physically. And then there's things you can assume about nearly all serial offenders. Childhood trauma, prior criminal record, few or no meaningful attachments. There's a lot of recurring themes in their stories. The detectives say HK doesn't leave evidence. So how much can his crimes possibly tell you? That he's diligent. Almost perfect. Highly intelligent, painstakingly organized. And with enough criminal connections to get his hands on an untagged firearm. It's rare to see her this animated outside the courtroom. It's almost like she's enjoying herself. A sheltered house cat who's picked up the scent of a mouse for the first time. A lone wolf, educated, but all her playfully lethal instincts coming to life. Probably overqualified or undervalued. Though I'm not thrilled about the fact that in this metaphor, I would be the... Know what I mean? Definitely. And considering the marksmanship, the detective said that HK would have needed insider information on optics. So does that mean heartbreaks in law enforcement? Never in 10 billion years. Oh. Antisocial, independent, despises authority. That'd be like a stallion applying for a job on a merry-go-round. They'd be kicking kids in the head after the first full rotation. Right, that's exactly how I'd put it. There must be some connection to the police, though. Maybe secondary or tertiary. These types can't help but insert themselves. Insert themselves? I do not do anything even resembling that. Wait, if HK is not a cop, how did they know about the blackout timing? Crime metastatistics analysis, probably. Pardon? Take the emergency response times from across the city, map them out, look for brief spikes and delays, chart out the dips, and... Sorry, technical, I know. But all the requisite data is publicly available. With a map, a spreadsheet, a calculator, anyone could reverse engineer the timing if they wanted to. That is such an unpleasant thought, Emma. Well, at least this heartbreak maniac will slow down now that he's lost his weapon. If he didn't lose it, he didn't lose it. He chose to leave it behind. That tells me he's confident he can do just fine without it. And it just makes me even more certain that these aren't his only kills. Were there other shootings with the same MO? Not that I've found. Other victims that fit the description? No. But I'm not overly focused on the victim's appearance anyway. I mean, these 6 victims all look like each other. They also look like a lot of people. That's true. Hell, they kinda look like me. People asking where's the Yuri at? Do they? Sure. What, you don't see it? Damn it. A little. I hadn't thought about it. Point is, no one can kill that cleanly when it's their first time.
Getting things that perfect takes practice. So I know that HK must have had a lot more than 6 occasions to practice, Morgan. That's why I think heartbreak is a misnomer.
You've got something catchier in mind?
I just don't think shooting in the heart has any particular significance. If anything, it's a testament to their accuracy. And they're called by a deficiency.
The best possible use of 6 untagged bullets. 6 kills. Guaranteed, no matter what kind of life support mods they were packing. Their real signature isn't the bullets or the gun. It's the perfection. That's hard to wrap your head around.
I'm saying that these 6 murders were just a fluke, a slip-up,
a mistake?
Exactly, a mistake. They got too clean, too efficient, and now they got the public's attention. It's no wonder they're so pissed.
Are you talking about the crime scene?
Yeah, probably threw the detectives for a loop, right?
Based on what you've said, I don't blame them. Whoever trashed that room doesn't seem like the smooth operator you've been describing.
On the contrary.
I don't follow.
This was the last bullet, their last shot. The other 5 were perfect. So if anything was out of place this time around, they must have thrown one hell of a temper tantrum.
You make them sound like a child.
Childish, and cowardly, and two-faced. Someone who hates to lose almost as much as they love to win.
Your profile tell you all that?
That? No. That part's just... takes one to know one.
So to summarize, you're looking for a cold-blooded, faceless perfectionist killer who you think has no persistent MO or victim type.
In a city with an 8-digit population?
Well,
good luck! I don't need luck. I only need more information.
Well, I'm sure the city would be happy to provide you with more resources.
No, Morgan, I need more crime scenes.
Oh.
Sad truth is, if Heartbreak walked away today, I'd never catch him. Only way my net narrows is if they keep piling up bodies.
Not a very fair trade, is it?
No, it isn't. But getting screwed over is a given. It's a deal with the devil.
Fair enough.
Ooh. Okay, that rant was pretty morbid and detailed. I need to get out more. Or sleep more. Or sleep less, but harder? You think a higher thread count would help?
Don't worry about it. I'm always happy to listen to you ramble. It's a lot more pleasant than having to face you in the courtroom.
Sorry, but that's the adversarial process. So, no hard feelings, yeah?
No hard feelings. We're both just doing what we do.
I could use a cup of coffee. How about you?
No, that was me. Sorry.
Don't tempt me.
If you fall asleep face first onto the table, I won't even take a picture.
Okay. Just don't expect this to make a difference next time we're at each other's throats.
Heartbreak won't claim any more victims. In 2 weeks, the media will have moved on to the next sensation, and the police will have moved on to cases they actually stand a chance of closing. It's what people do. But Emma is... different. And kind of a stacked nerd. I wish I was her. She'll set it aside and work a dozen other cases, never bringing it up. But a private corner of that frustratingly sharp mind of hers will continue to whittle away at it. Never finishing, but never quitting either. So I can't afford to take my eyes off her. As long as that's the case, I might as well try to enjoy the view. Oink. Yay! Episode 0 end. Woo! Woo! Who is this? Android. Which means you're going to be living with my friend for a while.
For how long?
I'm sorry, I don't know. There's no need to look that upset over it.
My face barely moved.
It may as well have been a blatant pout from where I'm sitting.
Oh.
Yeah, like that.
This friend of yours, they're trustworthy?
Absolutely. In fact, I trust them more than anyone.
Oh.
Hey, come on. It'll be fun.
Really?
Really. Educational, too. I think you could stand a lot to learn from someone like Morgan. We'll auto the credits here. So that was episode 0. That episode is free on Steam if you want to play around with it yourself. The rest of the game is sold in chunks, it seems like. They're up to episode 2 now. And I think after that, I can safely say next week, on Sunday, we're playing episode 1. I'm like ready to dig more into this. This was phenomenal. These kind of games need really, really tight, smart writing to work, and this has it. This for sure has it. I'm into it. I'm real into it. I don't know how y'all are feeling. Can't wait for it? Hell yes. Yes.